Y'all boys stay out the chain gang so you don't have stalkers trying to be you and you wanting to unalive them or take their girl and put her in the Fruit Loop booty scoop.
G.K. David Movie Stories is back with some more heat. The name of this one is called Charlie Local Tried to Be Charlie Global. Albany, Georgia didn't raise stars. It raised survivors. And even then, not all of them made it out of the trenches. Charlie Robertson wasn't a survivor, not yet. At 18 years old, he was the type of kid people forgot existed 5 minutes after meeting him. He walked light, talked low, and kept his eyes moving like he was always expecting something bad to happen, but never ready for it when it did. He wasn't dumb. He wasn't weak either, but he had no identity. And in places like Albany, if you ain't something, you become whatever the world decides for you. His life took a turn a couple of months before his birthday. It wasn't a police chase, no running from 12, no sirens screaming through neighborhoods. Just a quiet pullover on a dim street where the streetlights flickered like they were tired of working. Charlie's hands were already shaking before the cop even stepped out of his car. The tall, burly, menacing-looking Albany PD officer spoke with a baritone, "License and registration, sir." Charlie's voice cracked when he told the cop he would grab it out of the glove compartment. The smell in the car gave it away before the search even started. The officer didn't rush. Didn't raise his voice. That made it worse. When he reached into the car and pulled the bag out in between Charlie's crotch, he just looked at the scared teen like he'd seen this story 1,000 times already. "You on probation, son?" Charlie paused too long. Yeah, that one word sealed everything. After he was told to exit his vehicle, cold metal wrapped around his wrist and the sound of the cuffs clicking felt louder than anything he'd ever heard. Like a door slamming shut on his life, the first thing Charlie noticed at the Dougherty County Jail wasn't the smell, it was the noise. Voices echoing off concrete, laughter that didn't sound funny, arguments that could turn into something worse at any second. He kept quiet and tried to stay in his cell as often as he could, which wasn't long because his bunkmate was a 45-year-old with Crohn's disease, so he had to take poops several times a day due to his illness. So, while forced out of his cell during those times, he just sat and watched. That's what he'd always been good at, watching. But in the county jail, watching wasn't enough, because everybody else was watching too. "Where you from, lil' bruh?" A tall, dark-skinned 26-year-old with dreads asked, leaning against the side of the staircase like he owned the place. "Albany." "No, little nigga, I mean, what hood you from?" "Oh, I live in them blue apartments on Franklin, around the corner from the KFC. Dreadlocks crossed his slender arms and asked what they got him for. A bag of weed." The dude laughed loud enough for everybody to hear. "Weed? Boy, they lock you up over that?" A few heads turned. Charlie felt every eye in the pod on him. He nodded slightly. "Yeah." The laughter didn't stop. It spread. Not cruel, but not kind either. Just reality. After 4 long months in the filthy jail, he finally had his day in court. When the judge read his sentence out loud, Charlie felt like he left his body. 18 months in the Department of Corrections. Not long enough to forget. Not short enough to ignore, long enough to matter. Long enough to change everything. The county jail was a revolving door, and every man that came through it brought something with him, stories. And those stories, most of which were probably made up, didn't leave. They sat in Charlie's mind, replaying over and over. "The chain gang ain't nothing like this jail shit, lil' bruh," one OG inmate said, voice calm but heavy. "Ain't no officer stepping in when it go left. They barely even come in the dorms of the level 5 camps." Another added, "First day, they gon' test you. Don't matter who you is. If you act scary, they gon' own you. You hesitate, they gon' try you. If you weak, you might not make it home." Charlie listened to all of it. Every word, every warning, every nightmare. At night, he couldn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, heart racing like he was already there. He wasn't built for the chain gang, and he knew it. A couple of days later, he hopped on one of the wall phones to call his sister. The phone pressed against his ear felt greasy, like it carried pieces of everyone who used it before him. His sister picked up quick. "Charlie, you okay, bro?" "Hey, sis, I don't think I'm ready for this prison shit." "Well, I've been meaning to tell you I've been watching this dude on YouTube from Moultrie. He tells prison stories and talks like how to survive it." Charlie blinked. What his name is? Charlie Global. He got almost 100,000 subscribers. That name stuck immediately. Charlie Global? Yeah, he did like 15 years at some of the rough places, but he'd be chill about it. Like he figured it out or something. You should watch him when you get a chance. He got a main channel called Charlie Global and another one called Global Gang Story Time. He be having me laughing hard as hell on my lunch breaks. Charlie didn't respond right away because something had just shifted inside him. A small idea, but powerful. But that night, Charlie didn't sleep. He replayed the name in his head, Charlie Global, confident, respected, untouchable, everything he wasn't. But what if he didn't have to be himself? What if he could become something else? Something stronger, something people wouldn't test, something people might even respect. His real name was already Charlie, so that was good. He couldn't steal this dude's name, but he could get his close to it, though. Then it clicked. He whispered it into the dark. Charlie Local. It sounded strange. Then again, Charlie Local. Better. By the third time, it felt like armor. A week later, he got access to a contraband phone. It cost him everything in his commissary, but it was worth it because he was on a mission. This wasn't entertainment. This was preparation. The screen lit up his face as he went to YouTube and searched Charlie Global Prison Stories. He clicked the first video, and there he was. Calm, controlled, funny as hell, and speaking like prison was just another environment he mastered. Charlie leaned forward, watching closely. The way he paused before answering, the way he kept eye contact, the way he never looked unsure. Charlie watched another video, then another, then another. Hours passed. He started copying Global's mannerisms, practicing alone when his bunkmate was out in the day room playing chess with his buddy, lowering his voice, slowing his words. Albany was less than an hour from Moultrie, so he already pronounced his words like Global did. Instead of saying pack, he said pike. Backyard was bike yard, and so on. He focused on removing the fear from his face, trying to build something new. A few days later, a new inmate in the pod sat down next to Charlie at the movie TV. "Hey, what they call you, bruh?" The question came out of nowhere. Charlie hesitated. This was the moment he was waiting for. The old him would have said nothing, or just Charlie. But gangster version of him? He looked up slowly, just like he'd seen. "Charlie Local, my nigga." The dude squinted. "Local?" Charlie nodded. "Yeah." A pause, then a shrug. "Aight then, Local. My name Lil Carlos." And just like that, the name became real. I mean, you can copy how someone talks. You can copy how they move. You can even copy their name. But you can't copy what they've been through. And the men in that jail, they knew the difference. They didn't say it out loud, but Charlie could feel it. The looks, the pauses, the slight smirks. They wasn't buying it.
Can you please like and subscribe to the channel? I'll suck your...
Not fully. A month and a half after getting his time, his transfer day came. The chains around his waist felt heavier than they should have. The jail bus windows were scratched up so bad you could barely see out. Other inmates getting transferred were yakking it up, happy to get out of the jail and on to something new. Charlie sat still in the back row next to an obese man in his late 20s who smelled like he missed a few showers recently. He kept repeating one thing in his head over and over. You Charlie local now. You ain't scared. You built for this. But deep down, the fear was still there, waiting. And they arrived at Coastal State Prison, one of the 2 diagnostic camps for new inmate classification. The gates didn't open fast. They creaked, slow, like they wanted you to feel it. Welcome to a different world. Concrete everywhere. Fences layered with razor wire. Inmates walking like they had purpose or like they had nothing left. Charlie stepped off the bus, heart pounding, eyes trying not to show it. This was it. No more pretending in private. Now the world would decide if Charlie local was real or just another mask about to crack. Charlie thought becoming someone else would save him. But in places like this, being fake don't protect you. It exposes you. And soon, everybody would see exactly who he really was. The first thing Charlie noticed about Coastal Diagnostic wasn't the size. It was the way people looked at you. Not curious, not friendly, measured, like they was already deciding what you were worth when he finally made it to his assigned dorm. An open dorm with rows of bunk beds. A Bloods gang member walked up to him and asked what he banged and where was he from. It came quick. Charlie barely had time to set his bag down. I'm from Albany. What you bang? The question hit harder. Charlie remembered everything he watched. Every pause. Every confident look. He leaned back slightly, trying to stay calm. I'm rocking with the GDs. Silence. Not respect. Not approval. Just silence. Then a laugh. A medium brown-skinned, stocky dude stepped forward, eyes locked on him. Who brought you home? Charlie blinked. What you mean? Who brought you in, nigga? Charlie's mind went blank. He didn't look at enough of Charlie Global's video to prepare him for that question. He weirdly remembered Global urging his viewers not to join a gang, but he ignored those warnings because he had to get through 18 months and felt like he needed protection. I'm just trying to get down is what I meant. The dude shook his head. That ain't how it work. Another one chimed in, smirking, face full of tattoos. You don't just join nothing, especially not in here. Charlie felt the pressure rising. I know the code, he said quickly, trying to recover. Growth and development. I've been studying. Man, stop. The tone changed. Code. I've been GD for 7 years. You ain't one of us, so you better stop false claiming. The words landed heavier than anything he'd heard so far. Don't throw that name around. They walked off like he wasn't even there. Charlie stood still. For a second, he almost dropped the act. He almost said, I'm just trying to survive. But that version of him, he buried it. Instead, he straightened up, adjusted his posture, lowered his voice, just like the videos. They don't know me yet, but deep down, he knew they already did. The chain gang is a small world. News travels faster than footsteps. By the end of the day, people already knew. The new dude tried to claim something he ain't part of. Called himself Charlie, local. Talked like he's somebody he ain't because one of the inmates just came back to prison after doing 12 years and actually knew Charlie Global from Archery State Prison. Every interaction after that felt different. More eyes, more smirks, more testing. A few days later, he was sitting at a table in the chow hall, eating slow even though the nasty officers rushed the inmates out of the dining area after a quick 5 minutes of eating. He was trying to look comfortable, trying to belong. A dude sat across from him. Say something. Charlie looked up. What? Talk how you be talking. Charlie frowned. I don't know what you mean. The dude leaned in. That YouTube nigga's voice. A couple people nearby started watching. Charlie felt his chest tighten. Nah. Go ahead. The dude cut him off. Sound like that dude you be watching. Laughter started building. Charlie forced himself to stay calm. I just move how I move. Yeah? The dude said. You move like a global gang dick rider. That hit hard and caused everyone within earshot to bust out laughing. That night, Charlie didn't sleep. Again, but this time, it wasn't fear. It was anger, embarrassment, frustration. By the end of the night, he decided to stop, trying to be Charlie Global, but keep the Charlie Local name and just be himself. He believed he was Charlie Local. And Charlie Local, he wasn't soft. He wasn't scared. He wasn't getting embarrassed again. The next day, something changed. Charlie walked different, slower, more deliberate. He talked less, but when he did, it was controlled, measured, like everything had weight. Some people still saw through it, but others, they hesitated. And in prison, hesitation is a start. That new energy attracted something else too, opportunity, or at least what looked like opportunity. A 6'1" light-skinned blood from Jacksonville, Florida, named Duval approached him one afternoon. You local, right? Charlie nodded slowly. Yeah, I heard you move quiet. Smart. Charlie didn't respond. Just looked at him, like he'd seen in the videos. The man smirked. I need a run made, small pack, other side of the compound. Charlie's heart started racing because he remembered hearing about how Charlie Global was a sidewalk orderly and hustled by moving contraband from dorm to dorm for inmates for a nice fee. He did his best not to show any excitement and agreed to make the move. What's in it? Don't worry about that. A pause. Then, you do this right. People gonna look at you different. That was all Charlie needed to hear. That night, he held the package in his hand. Small, wrapped tight, important. He could feel it. This was his chance to finally become what he'd been pretending to be, to earn respect, to stop being a joke. But then another thought crept in. What if I don't deliver it? What if I keep it? Flip it like Global done did on several occasions? Use it to get up off the ground, as Global would say? The slimy idea grew fast, too fast, but it made sense to him. In his head, this is what a hustler would do. Take advantage, make power moves. The next day, he didn't deliver the Lil Pack. Instead, he held on to it, waited and planned, imagining the respect he'd gain. But prison don't work like a weird nigga's imagination do. And moves like that, they get you unalived. 2 days later, he felt it. The shift, the energy around him changed again. Different this time. Heavier, more focused, but group approach, same dude from before in the front. Where my shit at? Charlie stayed still, tried to keep that calm look. I don't know what you talking about, bruh. The man stepped closer, close enough that there was no space left. Bruh, you better give me my shit fo I pull your ass out. Silence, tension. Everybody was watching. Charlie realized something in that moment. This wasn't a test. This was consequences. Charlie wanted respect so bad. He forgot something important. Respect in prison ain't built on acting. It's built on truth, and lies. They don't just get exposed. They get punished. And now, Charlie Local was about to find out exactly what that cost. He swallowed hard. He could still fix this. Still come clean. Still step out of the character he built. But then that voice in his head spoke up. Charlie Local, don't fold. He shook his head. I told you, I don't got yo shit. Lens for a split second, then it came fast. Too fast, a punch that knocked Charlie off balance. Not enough to drop him, but enough to wake him up. "Nigga, you on a plate!" the gangster said, looking back at about 16 bloods of all different sizes. Charlie tried to swing, awkward, off timing, more panic than power. It was way harder than the first. Everything he practiced disappeared. The voice, the posture, the calm, all gone. What replaced it? Fear, real fear, the kind you can't hide, the kind everybody recognizes. "All my B-dogs in this bitch, y'all eat this nigga." Charlie's mind raced. The next moments blurred together, hands choking him, shoes connecting with his face. Arlie tried to swing. Awkward, off timing, more panic than power. It didn't land right. Didn't do shit. They rushed him. Charlie tried to defend himself, arms up, stepping back, but he was outmatched. Every move he made felt late. Every reaction was slower than it needed to be. He wasn't built for this. He got up but hit the ground again. Hard. Everything went quiet for a second. Not outside. Inside. That moment where your mind catches up to reality. This ain't YouTube. This ain't the real gangster Charlie Global. This is a sucker named Charlie Local who should have stayed in his lane, and he wouldn't be in this predicament. He curled slightly, trying to protect himself, breath short, heart pounding as he was stomped out, one foot catching him square in the face and jarring loose several of his front teeth as he instantly tasted a mouthful of fresh blood. Minutes later, Charlie stayed on the ground, surprisingly still alive, chest rising fast, voice shaking now. "I got your pack, bruh," he said weakly, both lips split open and bleeding freely. "I ain't. Move it." Yet, Duval stared at him, reading him, deciding, "Where my shit at, fuck nigga?" Charlie hesitated, then pulled it out of his sock. Duval snatched it out of his hand and said, "You stupid as hell trying to be something you not." After the group of bloods left him there, Charlie stayed on the ground longer than he needed to. Not because he couldn't get up, because he didn't know who he was anymore. Charlie Local? That name felt fake now, like it belonged to somebody else, somebody weaker than he thought. He sat up slowly. Everything hurt. But not just physically. His pride, his image, his whole identity cracked. The realization. For the first time since being in the county jail, Charlie stopped pretending. No voice, no more acting, no performance, just him. And the truth hit harder than anything else. He wasn't ready. He wasn't built like that, but trying to fake it almost got him killed. Charlie thought the worst part was over, but prison don't work like that. Moments like this, they don't just pass, they follow you. They define you. And now, everybody was watching to see what he'd become next.
I wanna be Charlie Global, whole world on my back. From the corner to the top, turn the pain into wrecks. They got it, they laugh, now I'm speaking all facts. I came from the mud, ain't no turning me back. I wanna be Charlie Global, name ringing like bells. From the block to the stage, from the streets to the cells. Had to hustle through the dark, I got stories to tell. Now I'm shining so hard, I had to break out the shell. Yeah, I grew up where the sirens sang lullabies. Mama crying in the kitchen, wiping tears from my eyes. See my homies chase a dream, but got caught in the lies. Either ball or you fall, ain't no in between sides. Posted late night, hoodie on, plotting moves. Had the weight of the world, I was paying my dues. Every loss, every scar gave me something to prove. Now I'm stepping in my lane, I ain't got nothing to lose. They was sleeping on me heavy, now I'm shaking the room. Turn the pain into pressure, now I'm ready to boom. I remember cold nights, now I'm lit like June. Trying to make it out the gutter, man, I did it too soon. But the devil keep calling, trying to pull me back in. Got me fighting my reflection, trying to battle my sins. I was broke, I was lost, now I'm stacking again. If they doubted my grind, I ain't asking again. I wanna be global, not stuck in the trap. Put my city on my shoulders, I'm just giving it back. From the bottom to the top, yeah, I followed the map. Now they chanting my name every time that I rap.